Joining us now is Ojinika Ojiope, with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinix. How was your weekend?
You did it with the swag. It was fantastic. We missed you on Friday. Don't worry. How are you?
I see even the floor manager is laughing.
Yeah, everyone. You managed to crack the whole nation up, really. A new video showing residents in Ogun State being handed the old bank notes, allegedly from the governor of the state, Dapo Abiodun, made the rounds on social media over the weekend.
The promising go mag back. The governor is coming back. Any mistake, we are coming back. So, what do you say to the governor for this? What do you say?
Rufai, this video needs to be investigated.
Oh, yes.
The envelope that we could see clearly there appears to be from the governor's office. But what can we say here? This is the reason everyone is saying the APC governors are adamant and trying to convince Nigerians that the president has gone against the Supreme Court's order. Rufai.
I mean, Oji is crystal clear. This is vote buying, daylight vote buying. And we can see where it's coming from. And only to think it was this same governor, Governor Dapo Abiodun, that said he was going to revoke the C of O. You see, because when these governors are stretching this thing they're doing, they forget that they are laws of the land. You want to revoke C of O of banks because the Supreme Court said, they should collect, the Supreme Court made a ruling on this Naira policy, and the president said no. And now, what is happening is the president further made a statement, okay, you can collect 200 Naira, but they are hell-bent on this 500 Naira and 1,000. I'd like to ask them, what is even the fixation of this 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes?
Well, because that's the denomination
at which they can vote by.
Stocked up.
And only to think that this was the same governor that was ranting fire and brimstone that was caught on tape. I wish you get that tape, what you played. I was saying we'll revoke licenses of CFOs, of banks that don't collect the old notes. I think the news flash they should understand is that this currency has lost street value. Simple as ABC. Even Governor Rufai had a report that showed that the Kaduna people say Governor Rufai is just speaking for himself. In the marketplace, people want the new notes. So what is this overfixation with the APC governors as regards this, if it's not vote by? And it's evident.
You're right.
We're beginning to see it.
Absolutely. Ayo, what do you make of that video?
Yeah, I was just going to mention the same way that even bus conductors are rejecting the old notes in terms of it losing street value. But to Governor Dapo Abiodun, this announcement was made since October. He had between December and the deadline in February to return any old notes he had in his possession. So a question I'd like to ask is why does he still have the 1,000 Naira notes? I thought they were defending the people in the hinterlands who didn't have access to, easy access to banks or the unbanked. He's not unbanked. So why does he still have old notes? Because he ought to have swapped his old notes for new notes. So was he preempting the fact that there was going to be a postponement or the fact that it wasn't going to hold? So these are some of the things that we begin to ask. And then, of course, I hope INEC is watching. Yes. After investigations, I hope they will also, because if it was really from his office, it's vote buying. Absolutely. And they even had the audacity to record it and be asking the woman questions and telling her, I hope you vote for him. Yeah. Clearly wrong on all levels.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the governors that asked the Supreme Court to have the president vacate that order, Dr. Abatti.
Okay, a number of issues here. A number of APC state governors have gone to court, 10 of them now, to challenge the position of the CBN, and you have the matter coming up again on Wednesday. Now, some of the governors have even gone further to say in the following states, Kogi, Kano, Jigawa, Ogun, that you mentioned, and Lagos, that people should continue to collect the old notes, right? So, in their own regard, they have also overruled the president of Nigeria, who has said he has extended the use of the old 200 Naira notes till April 10, with the president of Nigeria himself also overruling the Supreme Court in the public interest. So what we face is what looks like a constitutional crisis, which needs to be resolved. And that constitutional crisis, I hope, will form the substance of the position of the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court takes the consolidated matter in the extant case, and also the new case that has now been filed, trying to challenge the authority of the president in terms of what he said last week on Thursday. But the courts will decide on that matter. What is strange about it is that it's the APC that came up with the policy. It's the APC that is fighting itself. It's the same APC that is raising alarm. So you have, infighting within the APC with regard to policy. But what should prevail should be the interest of the average Nigerian. Number two, the video that you showed from Ogun State, yes, where a man was saying he was giving them money on behalf of Ogun State government. Yes, it is true that the Ogun State governor is one of those people, who said he will even withdraw CFO and all of that. But did he also go further to give out money that somebody should distribute the money on his behalf? So if that gentleman is acting as an agent of Governor Dapo Abiodun as principal, then of course is guilty as charged. But up to this moment, I don't know whether it happened in the last 1 hour, the governor of Ogun State has not come forward to say, I did not send anybody to go and give money. The principle in law is non ex factum. It is not my deed. We have not heard that from him. Maybe he will still do so. Non ex factum. If he doesn't say anything, then it means, yes, the man is right to act as his agent. However, it's an infraction. Section 121 of the Electoral Act of 2022 talks about bribery and conspiracy under Part 7, and it prescribes a penalty of 500,000 or 12 months imprisonment or both. All the people there are sharing money. They are guilty. I hope that the security agencies will identify them and invoke Section 121 of the Electoral Act with the penalty prescribed in Section 1213. Section 127 of the same Electoral Act of 2022 talks about undue influence. They are also guilty of undue influence. Under undue influence, the penalty is 100,000 Naira or 12 months imprisonment or both. Until we begin to test that Electoral Act 2022 and begin to jail people. Even if Governor Abiodun owns on to this, which he cannot anyway, the people who are involved in it should be sanctioned according to the law. Because everybody is just looking at that Electoral Act 2022 as if it's just another piece of literature, rather than a law that must be enforced. The true test of any law being in its implementation.
On Friday, a massive crowd turned up at the office of the Central Bank of Nigeria in Lagos, demanding to deposit their old banknotes following President Muhammadu Buhari's nationwide address, in which the president directed the CBN to extend the validity of only the old 200 Naira notes till 10th of April. Well, in a video, an official of the CBN was seen telling the crowd that commercial banks have been directed to accept their old banknotes below the threshold of 500,000 Naira.
Sorry for all the inconveniences, So we are here to tell you that, number one, you have seen the crowd here, and there's no way we can attend to all of you in this place. And I want to assure you that this exercise will not stop today. Even this week, you can still be paying your money in, and that nobody will lose his money. Everybody, the exercise will continue until everybody has paid his money into the bank. So, since we cannot attend to everybody here now, an arrangement has been made for you to go to your banks. Anybody that has 500,000 Naira and below, to pay in. If your money is 500,000 naira and below, you go to your bank. They will attend to you. If your money is above 500,000 naira, you will stay here. We will attend to you.
All right, Dr. Abatti, there was massive confusion over the weekend after this video began circulating. I don't know if you saw that video of the crowd, the people that came to CBN on the deadline. And you get to wonder, why is it that Nigerians always do last minute? And people are also saying that this might have been a paid crowd because it's a lot of people, as you can see in that video. But also that CBN official, we need to understand, why he came out there to even cause more confusion, because as you recall, there was a circular that came out, which was debunked later, saying that, the banks or commercial banks are allowed to take the 500 and 1,000 naira notes. I need some clarity on that as well. But also the fact of Atiku Abubakar making that dramatic U-turn and talking about, they should extend the deadline. What do you make of that?
Well, I saw, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. I think it was a tweet that he sent out yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think the whole idea simply is just to identify with the people.
Yeah.
It's political season. He had gone to Adamawa, his home state, to have a big rally. Earlier, he had advised the CBN not to extend the deadline beyond February 10. But the courts have said, the Supreme Court has said that the status quo should be maintained till the Supreme Court sits on February 22. So if he says extend it, that is in order. What he said, which is not in line with the position of the CBN, is that the commercial banks should be asked to collect the old notes. Now, the CBN gave a grace period till 17th, and the CBN is still standing by that. The CBN said February 15th to 17th, you take your money to the central bank. Guidelines were offered. You must register online. You must not do it through third-party deposits. You must come with your birth certificate. Even if you are dead, come and show your death certificate and all kinds of identification. In any case, I exaggerate. But that is the position. So Atiku Abubakar is just trying to identify with the people. However, the other side of it, which is the statement by the official of the CBN, where there's some confusion in that regard.
Yes.
And I think we should ask the CBN to offer clarification, because CBN denied that they asked people to bring the money to commercial banks or that it will be extended. So those are the issues there. But let them make the money available. And it's good that ASBFI, the Union of Bank Workers and Insurance Workers, has called off the strike that was supposed to start today.
All right.